how does it feel to be playing the inaugural night of a new venue and a cave at the same time?
It's quite an honor. You know, the last cave was a big deal. I remember, so it seems like years ago, maybe when I started seeing like advertisements for Bluegrass Underground when I lived in Michigan. And this was before I was playing professionally at all. I was still in my bedroom just playing along with Doc Watson on YouTube. But I started seeing all these, you know, steel drivers 303 feet below the ground, and I'm like, are you serious? There's a bluegrass show in a cave? So that sounds cool. And then, you know, they relocated, and this cave's even better. It sounds amazing in there. It's easier to kind of access, and I think it's just a better cave, really. It sounds amazing in there, and so wow. There's gonna be a lot of bands that play in this cave, and we're the first ones. That feels amazing. It feels great. What an honor, you know?
Definitely, thank you.
You had mentioned earlier a lot of your influences, everything from the Grateful Dead to Doc Watson, I believe you were saying, even Kendrick Lamar, you know, a little bit in there. Is there anybody that inspires you that people might be surprised that is an inspiration to you?
Not if you know me.
Right.
If you know me, you know I listen to everything.
Yeah.
Maybe Cryptopsy. I think this band, it's a Canadian death metal band. And they're really hardcore, you know, they're like really, really heavy. But I listen to them quite a bit.
Cool.
Because I think they're one of the best bands ever. More specifically, their album, None So Vile. And it came out in 1995. It's just one of my favorite metal albums of all time.
Cool.
And I've listened to it for years and I can't get sick of it. I mean, it's like a metal, it's like my metal version of Dark Side of the Moon or something.
Right.
It's just like, I cannot get sick of that record. So yeah, check out Cryptopsy's None So Vile, and then, I don't know, you might be surprised that I would listen to that.
But kind of like you said, you know, variety's the spice of life, and music is certainly that. And you were saying earlier, yeah, music's got a place for everyone. There's something for everybody, and so it is good to keep the options open, isn't it?
It really is, you know, and I'm a huge music head, you know. I really think it's a really serious thing. So it's hard for me to get behind some of the stuff you hear on the radio most of the time, but I can't sit here and down it either because it's somebody's art and somebody maybe likes it, but I don't know. I just wish people would, I don't know, maybe like not degrade women as much in their music, or make violence really cool.
Just have an open mind, right?
Yeah. But at the same time, who am I to say anything about anybody else's music? I don't know anything about it. I'm just...
What can you tell us about your album?
I had fun making it. We had a lot of fun in the studio with Glenn Brown. He's an amazing engineer. We sort of made an album that was, each track is, you know, I guess as an album it's kind of a whole thing, but it also breaks down like track by track too. There's like a crazy jamgrass tune, there's like a country flavored bluegrass tune, there's an old time banjo thing. There's a little snippet of all of my inspirations in there.
And the name of your latest?
Turmoil and Tinfoil is the name of the album. And and you know, there's like theremins and buklas and all these crazy stuff that we put on there, so it's not your average bluegrass album. I wouldn't call it a bluegrass album anyways, just an album. But I don't know, it's sort of from the future and the past, I guess.
That sounds great.
We made a freaky album and we had fun doing it. It's just kind of studio fun, you know.
How would you describe the acoustics in the Cavern here?
Absolutely fantastic. I think it's amazing. I mean, it feels really good in there. I can't wait to hear a band. But when the sound guy was just like playing the music on the speakers on the PA, it sounded really good. It sounds crystal clear. I think it's a great room. Something about the way it's shaped and everything, the sound kind of like, you just get it right from the speakers, you know. It's really, really great place. I can't wait to rock in there tonight, you know? We'll have fun.
I loved hearing about your dad being your influence. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, he's the man. I don't know what else to say. When I was, you know, that's who got me into it. I just got my first old Martin guitar, and it's just got me thinking about my dad. Like, he taught me all of this stuff when I was a little kid. You know, he also stepped in and raised my brother and I. My biological father died when I was a baby, but it's another huge thing. Like, he just like stepped in, raised us, taught me all about Doc Watson, pretty much set me up for life. You know, isn't that your job as a parent to enable your children to have a good life? And he totally did that. You know, and I wasn't even his real kid. He just kind of stepped in and did that, and here I am. You know. So every accomplishment, every single time, you know, I'll probably call him later. My mom's gonna be here. He's not gonna make it, unfortunately, but you know, every time there's an accomplishment, I call him, Dad, you're never gonna believe this. I'm going out to play with David Grisman, or Dad, I just played with Seldom Seen, or, you know, like, all this stuff. You know, I got to introduce him to Dale McCurry and all these people that he raised me on, you know, people that were larger than life to us. Up in Michigan, you know, we never thought we'd be able to meet these people, or that they were like, you know, we'd become friends with David Grisman. It was like, you know, they were our idols. And so him as a regular musician kind of around the house, you know, he never got out and mingled that much with all these, you know, Sam Bush and all these guys like that. But since I've started to break out and kind of take it as a professional thing, I've been able to do that, and I've been able to introduce my dad to some of these people that we, you know, my real dream is to take my dad to Mac Wiseman's house, because I know some of my friends go over there and visit Mac, and Mac is very dear to my heart, and really to my dad too, you know, because of his mom. My grandmother really loved Mac Wiseman's music, and but some of those unrealistic dreams have came true, and it's just amazing to share them with my father, and just like, thanks, man. Thank you for teaching me about, you know,
Yeah.
thank you for teaching me about Doc Watson and the Stanley Brothers and all that when I was in, you know, kindergarten. Before I was in kindergarten, you know. I was one of the rare kids in elementary school that knew Man of Constant Sorrow before that movie came out. And I'm like really grateful to my father for that.
Yeah. That's fantastic.
I mean, you know it if you're a bluegrass kid. If you grow up around bluegrass festivals and stuff, it's a special thing. If you don't know about it, I almost, like, I feel bad. I wish everybody knew about this family, you know, in this community. It's just a lot of love, you know. It's really an honor. So I'm feeling it, you know. I'm really feeling all the love today. This cave thing's got me all emotional.
We've got time for one more question. I think Chris has that.
I was going to ask, because I know, what was it, yesterday you guys were down at Sewanee, Spirit of the South, playing in Live Oak, Florida. How does the vibe from a festival go to come into a small, intimate show like this?
All these folks came to see us. You know what I mean? Like, a festival is, there's a big handful of our folks, and then there's all these people who don't know who the hell we are, but maybe that's our chance to get to them. So there's that. But it really feels good when it's your show and it's packed. It's like, wait a minute, like, we're not opening for anybody. This isn't a festival. This is our crowd. These people came here to see us. Let's rock. You know, it's like the ball's teed up. All you gotta do is hit it, you know, at that point. So I think it feels really good to, you know, some of my favorite shows are like the little theaters and stuff that we play where we're headlining, you know. It's like, we're not a big headlining band yet, or, you know, but when we do go get to play a theater and all the people show up, like in Colorado, people come out a lot. We do really well in Michigan because that's my home turf. But it's starting to, like, kind of get other little markets people are starting to come out, and it just feels really good. But you know, there is the side of playing a festival, like I said. Or like opening up for a band, you know, like a bigger band. We recently played with Green Sky Bluegrass, And, you know, they crammed like 5,800 people into a room in DC on a Saturday night on their tours, you know? It's like, what in the hell? So that was good for us, you know, a lot of exposure.